Well, every now and then you'll see one of these stories where someone is arrested over and over and over again, and they keep getting out on bond or a short amount of jail time or parole or something, right? Just over and over and over again until eventually they do something that's unforgivable, right? And you look at it and you say to the justice system, how can you sit there and allow this person to go free over and over and over? And this is one of those stories. On March 5th, this is posted by Taisha Fernandez of WSB TV. On March 5th, they reported on a serial sucker puncher. So here's a quick clip from their YouTube channel.
Imagine walking down a street, minding your business, just like I am right now, when a stranger in front of you stops walking, turns around, and punches you in the face. This video shows what happened moments before a suspect punched a random victim in the face downtown Atlanta at the Marriott Marquis. You see three women walking in a hallway near some conference rooms. Jamil Davis is walking in front of them. Seconds later, police say Davis waited around a corner for his victim, and we stopped the video right before police say Davis hit that victim in the face with a closed fist back on January 26th.
It's well said, Taisha. Imagine that you're just minding your own business and some jackass punches you in the face. I mean, like, how can you expect society to live like that? Especially when you're allowed to carry guns and such, and not have everything escalate to some ridiculous level. And that's what I worry about. This kind of ties in very heavily with immigration. I mean, this guy's very clearly a American citizen. I mean, I would assume descendant of slaves, so American citizen for sure. Don't really know that, but it's just an assumption you can make. You can also make assumptions about gang culture and such, as no one would reasonably get a tattoo on their face unless they were either in a gang or they wanted to be presumed as a criminal. It's kind of like getting a septum piercing in 2026. Like, the only way you do it is if you were completely socially detached, or if you were doing it as some sort of rite of passage to join the Democrats, right? Like, everyone knows why you're doing it. So this guy punches that lady, escapes. They find him a week later sleeping on a train because he has a bolo out for him, because he has facial tattoos and neck tattoos, and it takes 2 seconds to find someone like that. And through the reporting of people, the interviews of people, they interviewed some woman named Gabby Melnick. You can see that in their video if you'd like. I'm just piggybacking off of that, so I don't want to use too much of their footage. But Gabby Melnick said, as a woman, it's very alarming to me to be watchful and aware of who is around me. And on one hand, it's like, yeah, that's what the world used to be like, by and large, but we've advanced past that, or ideally, anyway. Ideally, we've advanced past that. But as a man, that's very alarming to me, too. Like, I don't want to have to live like that. And sometimes it may not be a closed fist coming at your face. It might be a knife, or a club, or a gun. Like, being a man doesn't make you impervious to things. Like, as a woman, it's scary, sure, but as a man, it's also scary. And she goes on to say, you can never make assumptions about people. And it's like, yeah, you never know, but you can never make assumptions about people. And that's the problem with America in general, but it's also a problem with, like, super immigration, where you bring in people of all these different backgrounds and all these different mentalities, and then, like, everyone is walking on eggshells because no one knows how anyone else is going to react. Like, that person could react normally, or they could try to decapitate you. You have no idea. You have no idea whether or not you are going to trigger someone with something you've said, something you've done. You step on a crack and you break your mother's back. You say the wrong word and it might be some sort of religious insult to the other person. I mean, this obviously, that's not what's happening here. Like, this guy was just deranged, but we'll get to that. So the judge, according to the fly lawyer or whatever, this guy's got some bling going on. He's a criminal defense attorney, and he said the guy should have been set for a higher bond, but once the judge found out about his background, the judge showed grace and gave him another bond when they could have just said, I think you're a risk to the community, I think you're a risk to offend. I guess he meant they were actually going to just, like, imprison him instead of giving him bond. And the bond is really what I wanted to talk about in this video, because this guy's been on bond repeatedly. So in Georgia, I don't know if this is federal law, but in Georgia, on a first offense of a misdemeanor charge, apparently sucker punching random people in the face is a misdemeanor. I disagree. heavily. But according to this, the judge has to give them a bond. I also disagree heavily on that. No violent offender, no like criminally violent offender should be given a bond. If it's like a couple drunks having a fight outside of a bar or something, and it's just a fist fight or whatever, okay, sure, like whatever. But this is not that. This is totally different. I do not agree with this getting bond, and I don't agree with it being a misdemeanor. But then the second and third offense, the judges have discretion, including setting a higher bond. The judges in Georgia decided to keep giving a man who was randomly attacking people on the street bond. And the victim of, I suppose, this particular incident, she spoke after Taisha Fernandez persisted for a week to try and get them to talk, to convince them. The victim did, anonymously, say, "When is enough enough?" And I wonder why it took them a week to respond to that. Maybe they were scared or what? I'm not sure. That when is enough enough? Well, I would say enough is on the first try there, but apparently fourth try, fifth try? I don't know. I mean, the guy got out on bond again, it would seem. On a bond of, well, the victim said $3,000, but Fernandez reached out to the court and they said, oh, no, sorry, the victim said $300, and then Fernandez reached out to the judge and they said the bond was $3,000. I don't even know how this guy's paying $3,000. Like, how you're going around sucker punching random people and sleeping on the train. How do you have $3,000 to get out of bond? Like, I don't even understand that. Anyway, I'm sure we'll be hearing of him again. But the victim here kind of irritated me. I'm not a big fan of victim blaming, but in this particular case, they were quoted as saying, "We're trying to bring the World Cup here. We have the Super Bowl here. If we have to bring in all of these visitors to the city, then they need to know that they're going to be safe," the victim said. Well, what about you, lady? What about me? Why do we have to worry? Well, is that an excuse? Like, we have to clean it up because what about victims from other countries coming here and they'll be punched by our random insane people? We don't need excuses. What about us? We should be able to worry about us and use ourselves as reasoning for these people being treated the way they deserve to be treated. I just, it's baffling to me. But more baffling still is this victim, and this is part of why I am kind of like leaning towards victim blaming here. This victim believes that Davis, the offender, needs help, and was shocked when she says that no one addressed that in the bond hearing and let him walk free with no resources. This man doesn't need help. He needs to be sent to Factory Island. There's no helping him. I hate when people insist that all you have to do to solve the world's problems is just shout mental health over and over again. There is no helping someone who goes to this length. I mean, not only have they put tattoos on their face, which is already a warning sign right there. I mean, that is like the brightly colored insect or amphibian or whatever. Tattoos on the face is a huge warning sign. And I know removing tattoos is painful for people who've trying to mend their ways and expensive and such, but it's a big deal, I think, because having tattoos on your face makes people afraid of you. They are immediately going to think that you are a criminal, kind of like how Yakuza in Japan have tattoos. And that started from the Japanese government branding their criminals with tattoos. And so the Yakuza sort of just adopted the mentality of we're going to have tattoos because it was forced upon us. And then that sort of spiraled into tattoos being seen as a criminal thing in Japan. It's not technically illegal, but people are sort of still, even today, put off by tattoos due to that reason. And it's like, you get tattoos on your face, everyone's going to assume something about you. Same as the septum piercing. It's like, people aren't going to feel safe around this kind of behavior. And you can either totally normalize it, which I'm not sure what the outcome of that would be, or you can totally restrict it. And I'm not really sure what the outcome of that would be either, but I feel like, I mean, right now we have people walking around afraid that this guy who keeps getting out on bond is going to bump into them and punch them in the face. And I mean, foreigners hear this kind of stuff, and like, I mean, God, they hear their own government say not to travel to the USA because it's dangerous, and they're just talking about Trump, let alone this guy. We have people like this guy wandering the streets, people with guns doing a lot worse wandering the streets. It's ridiculous. And what's more ridiculous is that this was posted on March 5th. Well, there's another story on March 5th of a totally different man in the same state of America punching another woman whom they seemingly do not know for no reason. The Atlanta police are searching for a man caught on camera punching a teacher for no reason and knocking her out. She was taking her students to the World of Coca-Cola, which I guess is where she was, and this guy just punches her in the head for seemingly no reason. She hits her head, lost consciousness, and suffered significant injuries, the police say. Investigators say she is a teacher from Savannah who was bringing her students on a field trip. They say it appears to be a completely random act of violence. And then they say they reported on this, and Jamil Davis has been charged with a misdemeanor assault several times, but has been released on bond each time, and this man does not appear to be Davis. Davis is the serial puncher. This is a totally different person. Like, two men in Georgia who've both been charged with punching random women in the face. And when one of them is a known repeat offender, I was just, oh, that's Jamil, you know? He goes around punching people. It's Jamil's at it again. How are we at this point? How is our legal system at this point? It is failing. And I've seen stories like this over and over again, and it only ends one way. It ends when the person who keeps getting out, who keeps getting grace from bond, who keeps getting a short jail sentence or prison sentence or whatever, it ends after they've been in and out however many times, 5, 10, 20, eventually they kill someone. That's what happens. Every goddamn time, that's what happens. And it's what's going to happen with this time, with this guy. Like, there's no way around it. It's just so frustrating because this is not justice. And I guess the most irritating thing of all is with everything going on in the world and how slow our justice system has ever been to adapt to anything, and usually in a negative way. Like this woman wants to shout mental health at the person who sucker punched her in the face for no reason. Like, this is where our legal system is going to go, where instead of punishing people, we're just going to say mental health. Yeah, I mean, what resources will be given to this with everything going on in the world? Nothing's going to be fixed. It's not like there's going to be any kind of major revamps, which there needs to be, anything to fix this ridiculous system of bond and misdemeanors for physically assaulting people whom you don't even know. Absolutely ridiculous, and it's never going to change, at least not anytime soon. And that's the most frustrating thing of all, because the fact that the legal system isn't actually doing anything about this, to me, is kind of just as bad as the man himself doing it, because if you don't punish him, then you're just enabling him, and that's what's happening. They're enabling someone, the justice system, the I guess I won't blame the police for it, but the judges who in this particular case didn't have to let him out on bond, the people who wrote the laws, they're enabling crime which terrifies people, crime which physically hurts people, and that's justice. I don't think so. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please do the YouTube things.